Hello, everybody. What's going on? I am back again. I know it's been a little bit since I posted my last video blog, but lots have happened, so I'm going to jump right in. So right off the bat, I just got back from an awesome weekend in Batam, which is it's part of Indonesia, but it's very close to Singapore. It's about a 40-minute ferry ride. Um, and we had to go to the Singapore Cruise Center, which was very close to this place called Vivo City, which is right at the harbor front in Singapore. Not too far away from Sentosa, where one of my previous blogs explained a little bit about Sentosa. So it wasn't too far away, but it was certainly a good time. And we had to get to the harbor very early in the morning, as our ferry was just like it was like an 8:30 ferry, and we had to be there 90 minutes before so that we could check in. And it was very similar to an airport, but a ferry. And our boat looked like this. It was pretty cool, and we all loaded, boarded in around 8:30 ish. We departed, and I got to see Singapore from a different angle, which was pretty neat. And then as we went ahead, it was funny the way that there's actually a time change between Batam and Singapore. So it almost, by the time we got there, it felt like it was only a 10-minute ride on the ferry, but it was about, I'd say just about an hour, maybe between 40 and 50 minutes. So it wasn't too bad. To a totally different lifestyle. So Singapore and Indonesia are two totally different places. Granted, they're so close, they're very different. So right off the bat, I hit an ATM when I got there, and became an instant millionaire. So it was pretty awesome. I was rolling in the cash, but I took $1 million out of or 1 million rupiah out of the ATM, which was just about roughly 100 US dollars, which got me way farther than I expected it to, but it was really cool. At this point, we were signed up for a tour through a Groupon, actually, that we purchased. So we purchased the Groupon. It paid for the ferry ride back and forth, and then also this day tour as well as a hotel stay. And we got like this crazy awesome deal. So right when we got to the ferry terminal in Batam, there was a woman waiting for us. There was a big group of us, and we all loaded onto this tour bus. So when we got on the tour bus, this is just a couple of my friends, Anna on the right, and then Allie on the left. So that's that, and we were just on this bus, and it kind of began to take us from one place to the next, and it toured us all over Batam all day long. I think it was like, I don't know, a 6 or 7 hour tour. It was like so long, but it was certainly, if we didn't do the tour, it was so much that we would have missed. And it was really funny. The first place that we stopped at on the tour, of course, was the Polo outlet, which Anna and I came well prepared for with our polo hats. So we thought it was kind of funny that we were rocking the polo hats, and the first place we went to was the Polo outlet. And there's actually polo outlets all over this area, and I was told that the reason being is because it's very cheap to ship products there because the manufacturer isn't too far away. Another place we stopped at was this little store-like place. I don't know, it was a little bit of like a shack store with some local foods and things, and we got to try this cake, which tasted okay at first, but just there was something not right about it. It was good, but it just wasn't great. It kind of had it was like very holy and airy, so we thought that it was going to be more of like an airy pound cake, and it looked like that and sort of tasted like that. But once we put it in our mouth, it was, I don't know, basically like more jello-y, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right. Afterwards, we got to go to this really neat show, and sorry about that. This was actually a photo of actual pound cake. So once we tasted that other cake, it was that we were a little nervous about. We then went to this other store, and it had samples of actual pound cake, and it was actually great. So we all indulged on some free samples. Then we went to this show that was really interesting. These guys kind of came out and were dancing and we're doing all these different types of all these different types of activities, dancing, which I think I have a couple more pictures, coming up. There was one guy who opened a full coconut with his teeth. There was another guy who was actually eating glass. Like he took a glass that you would drink out of and like bit it and was eating the glass. Um, Lots of just celebrations. There was drums and all this different music that was being played. So it was really interesting. This was a shot of one of our friends, a couple of my friends here. From left to right is Lena, Christina, Seisha, Carolyn, and Vivi. So they were a part of our group and certainly had a good time. So what we were watching was this gentleman or these gentlemen dancing in these pretty cool uniforms. And this was just the first act of the show. And this was one of the places that the tour brought us to. So we were pretty happy about it. And then at the end, we got our photo taken with some of the guys who participated in the show. And, it was just a nice little, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes of entertainment. So it was pretty neat. And I actually got to grab a coconut just because I wanted to. Afterwards, the tour also included this really complex, serious seafood lunch. Seafood is really big in Batam, so that we were totally taken aback by how much seafood we had. But we started off with some rice, which is in this blue container, and you can see everyone sitting around. This was a panoramic photo. I'm not sure if it's going to show up as panoramic or not. But then we also had these shells. I personally didn't eat this. I was a little grossed out. I thought it looked too much like a hermit crab, but I don't even really know exactly what it was. But it was all just, classic, typical seafood typical for Indonesia. These are called fish balls. Again, not something I chose to eat. This wasn't the first time I've seen this since I've been in Asia, so I just opted out of this. And then the famous chili crab, which is famous in Singapore, so I wasn't so surprised to see it come out in Indonesia as well. But very spicy, full crab. Usually I would jump into a crab, but it was chili. I'm not a huge fan of spicy, so I'm not sure even if I had any of this. I may have had like a little bit. And then another dish was this fish, which came with this real sweet sauce over it all. But if you can see in the bottom there, that's like the head of this like pretty large fish that was on the plate. So it was kind of neat. And after we had lunch and we were so full, we decided to go to this like animal garden where there were these like real like life-size, a little bit smaller than life-size animals, and we, I guess, climbed on them. And right here is me, and then it goes Anna, and then Carolyn. Then we were just sitting on like the 3 humps of this camel that we saw. Then we walked past an elephant, and Paulo decided to step up his game and pull out a handstand on top of the elephant. So it was pretty dangerous, but pretty cool. And after that, we went to one of my favorite places on the island, which was the chocolate world. Really, really just a great time, a lot of fun, and we got to taste samples of all different types of chocolate, and we got to buy some chocolate, and I just was loving it. And they had like this little guy who was like their, I guess, logo, and he was like, everyone loved him and got pictures with him. They had like a chart as far as who consumes the most chocolate, so it was good to see that America wasn't number 1 on that list, but we're certainly not far off. So I'm going to make a second part to, one more photo here of me at the, wearing the apron actually of one of the employees at the Chocolate World. So it was pretty kind of, I don't know, it was just a good time. It sort of reminded me of Hershey Park and places like that. So, all right, so this video is a little bit long, so I'm going to make a part 2. So I hope you've all been enjoying, and check out part 2. Talk to you soon.